Defender for Business vulnerability management can be summarized into the three main sections that we've already gone over: real-time discovery, context-aware prioritization, and end-to-end remediation. But what do they actually mean within the bounds of Defender itself? I'll use these three sections as a bit of a handrail to go from point to point with vulnerability management. I'll start with real-time discovery. From my perspective, real-time discovery is best defined as awareness. Half of the battle with vulnerability management is knowing what software and hardware is deployed within your organization and whether that content is vulnerable. On the left-hand pane of the Defender Security Center, I can navigate to Endpoint Vulnerability Management, and within the Inventory section, get a comprehensive overview of what's deployed within the organization. Software, browser extensions, and certificates are all available to view here. Under software, I can drill down into a particular piece of software, like Wireshark, and understand the threat context of it. Wireshark, for example, has one high and two medium severity vulnerabilities associated with it. I can see what devices have it installed, and I can also view any related security recommendations that Microsoft deem as appropriate. Like here, we can see to update Wireshark. Alongside the organizational inventories, we can also look into the device specifically. So for Desktop 01, within the inventories, I can see that it's got Wireshark, virtual machine firmware, and Acrobat installed. Defender gives us an almost real-time view of the software that is deployed within your organization. If your procurement procedures have got holes in them, if your users are able to install software of their own volition, it's a really nice way of keeping on top of things and making sure you don't have any unexpected consequences from having software with critical or high vulnerabilities kicking around in your environment. Now, these consequences can be somewhat mitigated thanks to context-aware prioritization. It's essentially how Microsoft uses all of the information at its disposal to help you prioritize where to focus your attention and what security controls would best benefit your environment. Defender considers multiple points, such as the security controls you already have in place, any security alerts that you've received, whether a vulnerability has an exploit, and whether any of your current controls would mitigate that threat. It combines this environmental context with its real-world threat intelligence to help recommend the best options and where you should be focusing your time. Within security recommendations, it's not just software and patching. You've got recommendations for attack surface reduction controls, recommendations for firmware, for BitLocker controls, operating system controls that you can deploy, security controls for your firewall. It's meant to be a comprehensive list of things that you can do to harden your environment against exploitation. If we consider the real-world scenario where you've deployed a piece of software that has a high or critical vulnerability that is being actively exploited, but there isn't a patch or a fix available for it, you could deploy a number of these security controls that would essentially mitigate the risk of someone taking advantage of that vulnerability by completely blocking off the way in which they would do that. Another aspect of context-aware prioritization is in relation to CVEs and software weaknesses. So with our previous example of Wireshark that's been kicking around in the environment for 16 days, we can see that there are no active exploits available for the vulnerability, and alongside that, no alerts associated with it. If that were the case, Microsoft Defender would use that context to assign a higher priority to the remediation. Using the Defender end-to-end remediation capability, I can go into the update here and I can request a remediation of it. By opening a ticket in Intune, providing a remediation date, assigning a priority, and any notes that you'd like for your team, you're able to send this across and raise the ticket. You can add mitigation actions if you don't want users able to use the software. Once submitted, this will populate within the Intune management portal. Looking here, we can see that a security task has been updated into pending. All it takes is for your team to go in, accept the remediation request, and they can start rolling out the appropriate patch. And that's it, a comprehensive overview of Microsoft Defender for Business's vulnerability management offering. I hope some of the context has helped you understand how you can apply that in real world situations and in your own environments.